Hey kids, this is the first video in the Power Tools tutorial section. Today we're going to learn how to use the scroll saw, one of the first power tools that you'll get to learn how to use in grade 6. This is a scroll saw. This is also a scroll saw. And this is a scroll saw. They're all pretty much the same, they're just different brands. Every scroll saw has a blade that goes up and down. Most scroll saws you come across will have a speed control as well. This one, the speed goes from 3 to 20. On the yellow DeWalt scroll saw, the speed goes from 1 to 8. And on the orange Atmos scroll saw, the speed goes from 500 to 1,500. All this means is that the speed controls numbers are fairly arbitrary. You want to be running it about halfway. On the Delta scroll saw, a speed of 3 looks like this. And 20 looks like this. The recommended speed when you're in grade 6 for the scroll saw is 10, approximately halfway. And of course, the first rule with using any power tools is to remember your safety glasses. Now you're ready to make your first cuts. You're going to take your piece of wood and we're going to draw 4 lines on it. We're going to draw a straight line, a curved line, a slight S curve, and an arrow. The goal with the scroll saw is always to protect your hands and fingers. You always want to try to keep your hands out of this red circle or a few centimeters away from the blade at all times. The scroll saws that have this center circle, that helps give you a visual reminder of where to keep your fingers away from. The first thing you're going to do is adjust the guard so that it's just about at the same level as the thickness of your piece of wood. To do that, loosen the handle here, bring that guard down, and then tighten the handle, and check with your piece of wood. That's just about perfect. It easily slides underneath the guard. This guard is going to do 2 things. First of all, it makes it very difficult for you to actually hit the blade with your fingers. The second thing it does is it holds your piece of wood from chattering up and down. You're now ready to cut. So we're going to turn the scroll saw on, and we're going to start with the straight line. We're just going to hold it with one hand on either side, and we're going to push it straight through the blade. Take a look at this straight line that I've drawn on the scroll saw deck coming out. This gives you another visual reminder of the direction that the scroll saw blade is cutting. So whatever line you're trying to cut needs to be in line with this. Here we go. First line cut complete, straight line. Now, if you want to do a curved line like this, you can't start by pushing the board straight into the blade because that line is not lined up with the black line on the deck. You need to turn your piece of wood and push it into the blade so that this is lined up. The other trick is when you are turning with the scroll saw, cutting a curved line, you need to move forward and turn at the same time. You cannot push the piece of wood in and then turn it like that. you will catch on the blade and it will start banging your piece of wood up and down. So let's give a try cutting the curved lines here. So I'm going to turn it on, line it up with my line, and I'm going to push into the piece of wood, and then I'm going to turn as I go forward. And I'm turning and moving forward at the same time, turning and forward, and then we're out. And it's done. There's our curved line. Now let's try the S curve. It's the same thing, except you have to move a little faster because we're curving one way and then the other way. Here we go. Pushing in and turning and forward, turning sharply, and then turning back in the other direction, turning and moving forward, and we're done. Excellent. Now, the final cut, you cannot make a 90-degree cut like that on this scroll saw with this type of medium-sized blade we have, maybe with a really fine blade. So what you're going to have to do instead is you're going to have to start at one edge and go in all the way into the corner, and then you're going to go back out. You're going to back it out, and then you're going to go on the other side and you're going to go in and out. And that's what's going to make your cut. If you try to turn sharply on one of those corners, you're going to run into problems with your wood banging up and down. So here we go. We're going in to the corner, back out, in again to the corner, and back out, and we've made our cut. There we go. Perfect. So we've made our 4 cuts: straight, curved, the S curve, and the 90-degree corner. So after you've practiced those 4 cuts a couple of times and you feel fairly confident, then you can try something a little more difficult. Draw a random shape and try cutting that out. Let's see what we can do with this heart. You're always trying to think of how you can hold the piece of wood so that the biggest piece of wood stays in your hand for the longest amount of time. Check it out. I'm going to start by cutting this little piece and then cutting this side off. If this happens, turn the scroll saw off, get rid of the piece, and then turn it back on. Do not reach in while the scroll saw is running. Halfway there. Now I'm going to hold it with both hands on this side to still keep my fingers away from the blade. Although I have enough left to hold over here, so I can hold on this side too. There we go. Done my little heart. You've now finished the scroll saw tutorial, so feel free to practice and cut out some other random shapes and maybe some letters. Make yourself a nameplate. Have fun with it.